Hello, everybody, and welcome back for a Wednesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and today's report includes Pittsburgh Steelers general manager Omar Khan speaks at the NFL Draft Combine. Are the Steelers definitely picking an offensive player in the first round? Is this not the final year of Andrew McCutchen's career? And more. As always, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the first news story of the day. Pittsburgh Steelers general manager Omar Khan speaks at the NFL Draft Combine. The 2025 NFL Draft Combine kicks off tomorrow with defensive linemen and linebackers practicing, but yesterday NFL general managers held media availabilities in Indianapolis. Steelers GM Omar Khan's media session was early in the morning, and he touched on a few things, beginning with the Black and Gold's end-of-season collapse, saying, I'll just touch on last year real quick. Obviously, it was disappointing. The way we ended was unacceptable. We know we have to be better, and people expect better. We expect better. That can't happen again. I'm just as disappointed as everyone else, and I can tell you we're working hard to fix that and make sure it doesn't happen again. Immediately following that opening statement, Khan went into everyone's favorite topic, the quarterback situation, continuing, I know you guys are going to ask about the quarterback situation. I'll tell you guys as much as I can. The reality is last year, we went into this understanding that we had 3 quarterbacks in the last year of their deals. And here we are. Until we get one of those guys, or 2 of those guys, or some combination of them signed up, all options are on the table. Had some conversations with both Russ's people and Justin's representatives, and we'll see where it goes. I think ideally, you'd like to sign one of the guys that we had last year, but the reality is they're both free agents. So, until we get one of those guys under contract, all options are on the table. And the last big topic that Khan spoke on was the noise surrounding wide receiver George Pickens and his gloomy-looking future in Pittsburgh, saying, I had a really solid exit meeting with GP, and I can tell you that he has a desire to be great. He has a desire to be great here. We have a desire for him to be great and to be great here. With respect to the contract, we won't discuss that publicly, and usually those things are addressed at a later date. A few other things that Khan mentioned are that it's a safe bet that Broderick Jones will be the team's left tackle next season. At least we now get to see him at his natural position and know if he's a bust or not. He spoke with Najee Harris's agent, adding that a return is still possible. The team will tender restricted free agent running back Jaylen Warren. And in his breakdown of this year's draft class, he failed to mention wide receiver as a strength, but did mention defensive line, defensive end, defensive back, and running back. With all that said, take everything you just heard with a grain of salt and treat most news that you hear about the Steelers this offseason with the mindset, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. They're working hard to fix last year's problems. I guess the only problems were the 2 positional coaches on defense that you let go. You had a good exit meeting with Pickens and expect him to be great here? Yeah, you said the same thing about Kenny Pickett about this time last year too. You still think a return for Najee Harris is possible? Then why did you decline his 5th-year option before last season? The way I see it, one of 2 things is going to happen. You either bring back pretty much the same team as last year, proving Tomlin's lie of change again, or you actually do make changes, but will they actually be Khan's decisions, or will Tomlin continue to overrule him? Again, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do, so let's see what happens over the next 4 days at the Combine. Are the Steelers definitely picking an offensive player in the first round? Before the NFL Draft Combine gets underway, a few experts have thrown out a couple of mocks. The 2 most recent mocks here come from ESPN NFL draft analyst Mel Kiper Jr. and Fox Sports analyst Bucky Brooks. Starting with Kiper, in his mock draft 1.0, he had the Steelers picking Ohio State wide receiver Emeka Egbuka at pick 21 in the first round. Now, in his pre-combine mock 2.0, Kiper is sticking by his pick for the Black and Gold, projecting them to take Egbuka again. The only difference this time is that even though the Steelers stuck with Egbuka, who I like a lot, he had them passing on Arizona wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan, the consensus top receiver in the draft class. Honestly, if both Egbuka and McMillan are there at 21, I wouldn't lose sleep over which one the Steelers drafted. Just flip a coin and sprint to the podium to take one of them. Now looking at what Brooks is cooking, back in his mock draft 1.0, he had the Steelers going wide receiver as well, picking Luther Burden III from Missouri. Now in his mock 2.0, he has the Steelers staying on the offensive side of the ball, but going running back instead with Omarion Hampton from UNC. You know, usually I would call Brooks and anyone else thinking that the Steelers are going to take a running back in the first round again crazy, but now they can think that with reason. A report came out yesterday that the Steelers have scheduled a combine meeting with the top running back in this class in Boise State's Ashton Jeanty. Even though Pittsburgh is meeting Jeanty this week, and I hope it's just a smokescreen to throw other teams off the scent of what they're actually thinking, I still can't get on board with them spending a first-round pick on a running back again when there are so many other holes to fill. At that point, with McMillan and Egbuka off the board, I'd still be fine with them taking a wide receiver in either Burden or Matthew Golden from Texas. What do you think of this pair of pre-combine mock drafts? Do you think the Steelers will use the 21st overall pick on offense, or do you want them to take a defensive player? Let me know in the comments below. The Pittsburgh Penguins tank continues to roll after another ugly loss. I keep telling myself that this will all be worth it, even though it is so damn painful to watch. Last night, the Pittsburgh Penguins played their first of back-to-back games against the Philadelphia Flyers, this time in Philly, and fell to their cross-state rivals 6-1. It was your typical go down a few goals early and never be able to climb out of that whole game for the Pens. They were sloppy with the puck, are allergic to physicality, and got no help from their goaltender. There really isn't any more left to say. It's just the same crap, different day with the Pens. Now, they are 0-3 coming off the Four Nations break, all of those losses to Metropolitan Division rivals, and have been outscored 19-7 in those games. But the great news is that with the Buffalo Sabres' 3-2 win over the Anaheim Ducks last night, the Pens now move into 5th place in the NHL draft order, currently giving them an 8.5% chance at the first overall pick. Again, it's so hard watching the Pens lose these last few games, but at least we can see the hope that's on the other side. Sometimes you gotta go through a thick patch of thorns to get to the most beautiful rose. A handful of Pittsburgh Pirates starters impress early in spring training. Even though we couldn't watch it on TV, it sounded over the radio yesterday like there were a few good things that happened in yesterday's preseason game for the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Bucks fell to the Atlanta Braves split squad team 2-1, but we got our first look of what the opening day lineup may look like, minus Andrew McCutchen and an injured Spencer Horwitz. Jared Jones got his first start of the spring and was good as expected. Jones went 2 scoreless innings, throwing with good velocity, confidence, and his new two-seam fastball was effective. After Jones, most of the other pitchers fared well, minus David Bednar and Colin Holderman. Bednar and Holderman each gave up a run in their spring training debuts, but please people, don't freak out. They're just knocking off some rust, and as much as we talk about not putting too much stock into good spring training performances, we need to equally do so with bad spring training performances. Lastly, the starters in the lineup only got 2, maybe 3 at-bats, and a few got a hit, but the big story is Ke'Bryan Hayes, who was DH yesterday, going 2 for 2 with a pair of singles, and had a stolen base. Listening to that, seeing his new two-handed follow-through on his swing, and hearing the crack coming off his bat is very uplifting and is a good sign of where his health is with his back. Is this not the final year of Andrew McCutchen's career? There is a question in everyone's mind that isn't at the forefront, but you know it's in there. That question is this Pittsburgh Pirates designated hitter Andrew McCutchen's final year before retirement? McCutchen is now 38 years old, and in each of the last 2 seasons, he has had issues staying healthy. However, on the Foul Territory Baseball podcast at the Bucs spring training facility yesterday, Cutch said this when asked how much he has left in the tank. I don't know. I'll see how this year goes, see how it plays out. If body does well, team does well, you know, maybe there's something in there that's like, yeah, I want to keep going. But we'll see. You know, like, I don't know, 2-1, 1-2. In his last 2 seasons combined since returning to Pittsburgh, McCutchen has played 232 games, hitting .243 with 32 home runs, 93 RBIs, and a .757 OPS. No doubt he has been one of the Bucs' better hitters in a most times crappy lineup, but I'm torn on this. I and everyone else love McCutchen and love seeing the Pirates pee on his chest, but these are some tough things that we have to talk about. If the Pirates can't get Cutch to one last Bucktober this season, I don't see any way we can commit a roster spot to him in 2026. At this point, he is pretty much limited to being a designated hitter, and the Pirates can't commit that spot in the lineup to him full-time after this year. Again, Cutch is everyone's favorite, and I hope he has the best season that a 38-year-old has ever had in MLB history, but when the season is done, he can either be brought back in a limited role or not at all. Alright, enough talking about this saddening subject. Let's all just focus on watching one of the Pirates' all-time greats and enjoy him if this indeed will be his final year. And finally, upgrades are coming to Pittsburgh sporting venues. In my opinion, I think it's fair to say that Pittsburgh has 3 of the best venues among their respective sports. Now, news has come out that those 3 major sports venues in PNC Park, Acrisure Stadium, and PPG Paints Arena are getting small improvements. Starting with PNC Park, the greatest ballpark in America will be receiving clubhouse and bullpen upgrades for the players, as well as new disability-friendly seating for fans and an improved sound system around the stadium. As for Acrisure Stadium and PPG Paints Arena, their only notable upgrade is much stronger Wi-Fi at both venues, with Acrisure Stadium also having new security enhancements. The upgrades at all 3 venues together will cost around $10 million, but will be much needed with massive sporting events coming to the city of Pittsburgh in the US Open this summer, the NFL Draft in 2026, and now hopefully the World Cup of Hockey in 2028. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up a Wednesday edition of the Steel City Sports Report. Again, please be sure to like, comment, and share this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow with some more Pittsburgh sports news.